everyone! Welcome to my channel, Tutorial by Sir Rymon. My name is Mr. Jem Rymon Chien, Master Teacher 2 from Escalante Central Elementary School, Schools Division of Escalante City, DepEd Region 6, Western Visayas. Click like and share if this video tutorial helps you. Don't forget to click subscribe below to keep updated for my future tutorial. For your suggestions, especially on the topic for my next tutorial, please leave your comment below. Hope you learned something in my video lessons for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Stay home and stay safe. Have a nice day, everyone. How are you? I hope everybody is fine and safe. It's mathematics time! For week 2 of quarter 3 in your Mathematics 6, we will discuss your module 2. And this module 2 comprises of 2 lessons. Lesson 1 is all about formulating rules for sequence, and lesson 2 is differentiating expression from equation. Are you excited to learn these lessons? Let us discuss first your lesson 1. And your lesson 1 is all about formulating rules for sequence. Our first objective for the week is to formulate the rule in finding nth term using different strategies such as looking for a pattern, guessing and checking, and working. Let's answer first the what I know part of your lesson 1, and this could be found on page 6. Direction: study the following sequences below. Write the role describing each sequence. Let's have number 1. 3, 6, 9, 12 is the sequence. And what do you think is the nth term for this? Any guess? So the answer is 3n. We will find later on how do we get 3n for number 1. Next, number 2. The sequence is 1, 4, 9, 16. And what do you think is the nth term? The nth term is n squared. Next, number 3. Y. Y squared, y cubed, and y to the exponent 4. So what do you think is the nth term rule? Yes, y to the exponent n. Next, number 4. 2, 5, 8, 11. The nth term rule is 3. You might find it difficult right now to find the nth term rule. Again, this is just a pretest of your module. We will learn how to formulate the nth term in a sequence later on. But for the meantime, just try to answer what I know part of the module. Let's have the second part. For 6 to 10, let's find the next 3 terms in each item. Are you ready? Let's have number 6. 5, 7, 9, 11. What do you think is the next 3 numbers in the sequence? Number 6 is 13, 15, and 17. Number 7, 15, 18, 21, 24. What is the next 3 terms in the sequence? Yes, it's 27, 30, and 33. Number 8, 3, 8, 18, 38. The next 3 terms are 78, 158, and 318. Number 9, 7, 10, 13, 16. What are the next 3 terms? Yes, it's 19, 22, and 25. Next, number 10, 18, 27, 36, 45. And it's 54, 63, and 72. Again, this is just a pretest of your module. We will learn more on this as we go along. This time, Let us have the what's in part of your module 1. Now, direction. Answer the following. Write your answer in your answer sheet. The question is, what are the first 5 multiples of 4? Can you still remember what are multiples, class? Yes, a multiple is the result of multiplying a number by an integer. So for example, 4. 4 times 1, 4 times 2, 4 times 3, 4 times 4. So the result of that, the product of that, are the multiples of 4. So what are the multiples of 4? Yes, 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2, 8. 4 times 3, 12. 4 times 4, 16. 4 times 5, 20. So again, the multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and so on and so forth. Next, number 7. So do you now have the idea how to get the multiples of a certain number? Again, a multiple is the result or the product when you multiply a number by an integer. Number 7, multiples of 7 are, of course, 7, 14, 21, 28, and 35. Very good. Next, 8. Number 8, 16, 24, 32, and 40 are all multiples of 8. So next, part 2. What is the common difference of the following sequence? So what is the difference between 3 and 5, 5 and 7, 7 and 9, 9 and 11? How do you get the common difference? Of course, you subtract the numbers, right? What's the common difference in number 4? Correct. The common difference is 2. We have 5 minus 3 is 2. 7 minus 5 is 2. 9 minus 7 is 2. And 11 minus 9 is 2. Okay, that's how you get the common difference of certain number. Next, what are the common difference of 16, 19, 22, and 25? So again, how do you get the common difference? You subtract 19 minus 16, 22 minus 19, 25 minus 22. So, if you get the difference, then you'll find the common difference of the sequence. So the common difference is, yes, 3, because 19 minus 16 is 3, 22 minus 19 is 3, and 25 minus 22 is 3. Good job, grade 6. Now, if you are given the following sequences, class, like this one, 3, 6, 9, 1, 4, 9, 16, and 2, 5, 11. How do you get the succeeding numbers? And by the way, what do we mean by sequence? Do you want to know the answers of these questions? And our lesson 1 is all about sequence. What do we mean by sequence? Any idea? Ano bang ibig sabihin ng sequence? Correct, no? Ang pagkakasunod-sunod. Yes, that's it. Some more. Yes, list of numbers. Sequence are list of numbers. Some more. Yes, these are list of numbers wherein they are arranged in a special order. Yes, that's good. Now, when we talk about sequence, class, sequence is a set of numbers written in order by the application of a definite rule. So, ang ibig sabihin, yung pagkakasunod-sunod ng mga numero, may rule na pwedeng i-apply doon. These are not just a list of numbers, but these are list of numbers sa kung saan they are arranged in a proper or a special order. May rule na pwedeng i-apply, na pwedeng gamitin sa pagkakasunod-sunod ng mga numero. Later, we will find out how these rules formulated to get specific numbers in a sequence. Okay, what are examples of sequence? Okay, this is an example of a sequence. So we have 3, 5, 7, and 9. As you notice, our sequence here starts with 3. Nagsisimula ang ating sequence sa 3. And how do you get 5 from 3? What have you noticed in our sequence? Can you identify the common difference between numbers? Yes! So let's start with 3. When you add 2, you'll get 5, right? Okay. So from 3, we will add 2 to get 5. Now, how do you get 7? Yes, we still add 2. Very good. Next, how do we find 9 from 7? Paano natin makukuha yung 9 from 7? Yes, again, we find or we add 2 to get 9. So what can you say about our sequence now? Ano ang masasabi mo sa ibinigay nating example or halimbawa ng sequence? Yes, the sequence has a common difference of 2. Very good. Now, kung tatanungin kita, ano kaya ang susunod na numero from 9? Yes, it's 11. Very good. And how do we get 11? Yes, we add 2. So 9 plus 2 is 11. So again, this is not just an ordinary list of numbers, but then, and this sequence applies certain rules to get the succeeding numbers. May mga rule na pwedeng i-formulate para makuha natin ang mga susunod na mga terms in a particular sequence. I hope you have now the idea what is this sequence is. And what do you call each number in the sequence? Ano kayang tawag natin sa mga numero sa sequence? Ano kayang tawag sa 3, sa 5, sa 7, sa 9? Yes, we call this as terms. Yung 3 dito, ang tawag natin ay ang unang term or the first term. 5 here is called second term. 7 is the third term and 9 here is the fourth term. Okay? But some references, some books use the word element or member. But then, term is commonly used as name in each number in a particular sequence. But then, the term, the element, or members mean the same thing. Is that clear? Huwag malito. Kung may mga books na element ang tawag, it's okay. May mga books din na member ang tawag. But then, ang common na tawag sa mga number is term. Is that clear? Okay, very good. Okay, let me emphasize this. We call 3 as the first term. 5 here is the second term. 7 here is the third term. 9 here is the fourth term. Tandaan class, kasi gagamitin natin ito later on as we formulate the rules in the sequence. Kaya, kinakailangan marunong kang mag-identify kung saan ang first term, second term, third term, fourth term, and so on and so forth sa ibinigay na mga sequence. Now, sa sequence din class, meron ding ginagamit na tatlong tuldok. 3 dots here means goes on forever or infinite or walang hanggan. Walang katapusan. Okay? Because numbers are infinite. So, kung makakakita ka ng tatlong tuldok, ang ibig sabihin yan is infinite. Walang hanggan. May mga kasunod pang mga numero aside sa ibinigay sa sequence. Is that clear? Okay, very good. Okay, balikan natin yung mga halimbawa ng mga sequences na ibinigay ko kanina. Yung 3, 6, 9, 12, 1, 4, 9, 16, and 2, 5, 8, 11. Now, there are certain patterns class to be followed to help us in formulating a rule or to give the succeeding numbers of a particular sequence. or to figure or to fill in a missing numbers in a particular sequence. So, kinakailangan marunong tayong mag-formulate ng this what we call special rule para malaman natin yung mga susunod na mga numbers sa ibinigay na sequence sa iyo. Or pwede ring para malaman natin kung ano yung mga missing numbers na sa ibinigay na mga sequence. So again, we will focus in formulating rules in the sequence. Okay, let's have first the sequence 3, 6, 9, 12. So we have 3 questions to answer. First is how to formulate the rule. The second is what is the nth term rule. The nth term means the formula with the n in it, which enables you to identify any term of the sequence without having to go up from one term to the next. The n here, the letter n here stands for the term number. Example, the 50th term. So we would just substitute 50 in the formula in the place of n. In every rule that we will be formulating later on, there should be n in it. Yung n ang nagsasabi anong term na gusto mong hanapin sa particular sequence. So for example, we have here 3, 6, 9, 12. Kung gusto mong hanapin ang 50th term, alam natin yung 3 is the first term, right? 6 here is the second term. 9 here is the third term. 12 here is the fourth. Ano kaya yung number sa 50th term? Yung pang-limampu na numero. You don't need to solve the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, 8th, 9th term. If you have this n term, then you will easily find the 50th term. Kasi yung n stands for the term number. So kung may rule na tayo, at yung n isa-substitute na lang natin sa term number na gusto nating hanapin. I know medyo mahirap ang intindihin as of the moment. But later on, hopefully, magkaka-idea na kayo and it would be easy for you to find the succeeding numbers and in formulating the rule in a particular sequence. Ang ikatlong tanong na dapat nating sagutin is, what are the next 3 terms in the sequence? So ito yung mga tanong na nasasagutin natin in relation to our sequence 3, 6, 9, 12 later. Now let's have the sequence 3, 6, 9, and 12. Now, the common strategy to be used to find the rule for this particular sequence is to find a pattern or look for a pattern. Pattern is a series or a sequence that repeats. Okay? So we have to look for a pattern or a number or a series or a sequence, no? That repeats in a given set of numbers here. In mathematics class, patterns are sequence that repeats based on a specific rule. And this rule is a set way to calculate or to solve a certain number. So now, let's identify first the name of each term. Let's have this. Number 3 is our first term. The second term is 6. The third term is 9. And our fourth term here is 12. Okay. Now, what have you observed in our sequence here? Can you identify a pattern by simply looking our set of numbers here? Ano ba yung kadalasang inuulit-ulit sa ibinigay na sequence sa inyo? Just like 3, 6, 9, 12. Ano ba yung rule na or paulit-ulit na ginagamit? Yes! You notice, every term is obtained by adding 3 to the preceding number. For example, we get 6 if we add 3 on the preceding number, which is your 3. We get 9 if we add 3 to 6. And we get 12 if we add 3 to 9. So that would be a pattern. So there is repetition already. By simply adding 3 in each term, you can now form a pattern. And we will be using that in formulating the rule later on. Okay, so example, of course, we will not add 3 for the first term because this is our first term. So that would mean 0 plus 3. Of course, we will not add 3 on that. But then 6 how do we get 6? Yes, 6 could be obtained by adding 3. So this is 3 plus 3. This 3 here is the first term. And we just notice that every time we add 3, we get the second term. So 3 plus 3 here is equal to 6. What do you do next? Yes, we will use 6 again. We will use the second term, which is 6, and then we will add 3 on it. Example, this one. So this is the preceding number, 6 here, and then we add 3. Okay? And the answer is 9. So there is a pattern here, this one. So there is repetition of number 3 in here. So that's one pattern already. And 12 here could be obtained by adding 3 on 9 on the preceding term of 12, which is 9. So 9 plus 3 equals 12. And how do you get the next term? Obviously, if this is the rule, if this is the pattern, then obviously, we will find the next term if we add 3 in 12. Okay? May idea na ba kayo, class, kung paano makukuha yung pattern na sinasabi ko? Ang ipinakita ko sa inyo kanina ay isa lang sa mga pattern, isa lang sa mga pwedeng gamitin, no? Para makuha yung pattern na sinasabi natin. Now, wala talagang exact na pamamaraan kung paano gawin or paano kumuha ng isang pattern in a given sequence. Okay? This time, let us use another way in finding a pattern for our given sequence. Now, and we will relate to the term number. Take note, first term, we'll use 1, of course. Second term, we'll use 2. And third term, we'll use 3. And for the fourth term, we will use 4. So we will relate the term number in getting the number in the sequence. So for example, 1. We'll use number 1 because first term is 3. Paano natin gagamitin yung 1 at i-relate natin yung 3? Hindi naman po pwedeng mag-plus, di ba? Kasi 3 plus 1 is 4. Hindi rin pwedeng mag-minus. 3 minus 1 is 2. But pwedeng mag-multiply, right? Okay, so 3 times 1. Sir, saan ba natin kinuha yung 1? Yung 1, kinuha natin sa number ng term ng 3, which is the first term, right? Okay, so 1 times 3, right? Yes, so pwede natin gamitin yan. Next, 2. Let's use 2. And then, how do we get 6 if we use 2? Paano natin makukuha yung 6 kung gagamitin natin yung 2? Saan ba natin yung kinuha yung 2? Nakuha natin yung 2 sa term number ng 6, which is 2. Kaya gagamitin natin yung term na to, yung second term na to, and we will use number 2 to represent second term, right? Paano natin gagamitin ang 2 para makuha natin yung 6? Anybody? Yes. Pwede ring 3 times 2, right? Saan ba natin nakuha yung 3? Oh, may idea ka na kanina. Kasi may pattern ka na nakuha kanina na may common difference yung term natin by 3, right? O, pwede din yun. Pwede natin i-connect yung example natin earlier sa pagkuha natin ng new pattern this time. Yung pattern na ginagawa natin ngayon, ang pagkuha ng pattern na ginagawa natin ngayon, nirelate natin sa term number ng sequence. Okay? So, 3 times 2 equals 6. Okay, this time, let's use third term. And third term represent 3, right? Okay, or how do you get 9 if we use number 3? Yes, that become 3 times 3. And 4, obviously, it's 3 times 4. Okay? Now, do we have a pattern here? Okay. We will now use n. Right? Can you still remember? We will use n. What is n? Remember, I said earlier, n stands for term number. Ito yung 1, 2, 3 at saka 4, pwede natin yang palitan ng letter N because N will stand as your term number. Pwede nating palitan yung 1, 2, 3 at saka 4 ng N. So what is the N-term rule now? We are about to formulate the N-term rule now. So again, yung N na to, nagre-represent ng term number. Okay? So take note. The first term in the sequence is the same. O, parehas lang. Take note ha, yung common difference natin ng 3 at saka yung first term natin dito ay parehas. So equal yung common difference at saka yung first term natin. Now, if you notice, we get each term by multiplying the common difference 3 by each term. So, we get 3 here if we multiply the common difference of 3 by the term number. So, by this, we can conclude that N should be multiplied by 3 to each number. So, gamit yung mga halimbawa na ibibigay natin dito, pwede nating palitan term number here sa N. Papalitan ba natin yung 3 dito? Of course not. Hindi na kasi yung 3 is common difference per term. And this one will represent 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. The term number. And here represents the term number. Okay? And we will have, of course, the common difference of 3. Okay? So our N term here is 3N. Ito na po yung sagot natin sa question na what is the N-term rule in this sequence. So, ang sagot natin ay 3N. Actually, pwede nating i-check kung tama yung N-term rule na na-formulate natin. So, nakita nyo na ang N-term natin is 3N. 3N na to nagre-represent ng term number. Halimbawa, we will get the third term or the second term 6. Okay? So, 6 is in the second term. So, this is 2, right? So, we will replace N 2. So, 3 times 2 is 6. Now, if you'll ask, what is the third term in the sequence? So, we will replace, papalitan lang natin to ng number ng sequence. So, this is 3. Third term. Okay, so 3 times 3 is 9. Now, kung tatanungin ka, ano kaya yung panglima na term? Okay, pwede natin gamitin yung formula na ginawa natin or yung rule na ginawa natin. So, ano ang i-replace mo sa N kung hahanapin natin yung panglimang sequence or panglimang numero sa sequence? Yes, papalitan natin ito ng 5. So, this is 5 times 3. So, what is the answer? Correct, 15. So, ang panglimang term dito sa sequence is 15. Okay? No, but then, we will discuss more on this later. So, binigyan ko lang kayo ng idea paano gamitin yung tinatawag nating N-term rule. The next question to answer is, what are the next 3 terms? So, ano kaya ang sunod na tatlong numero sa sequence na to? What are the next 3 terms in the given sequence? So, again, we will use the N-term rule that we formulate earlier. Or 3N, or that means 3 times N. Okay, let's have 3, 6, 9, 12. And we will look for the next 3 terms. Ang tawag natin sa 3 is first term. Yung 6 is second term. Yung 9 is the third term. And the 12 is the fourth term. Now, and we are looking for the 5th term, the 6th term, and the 7th term. Okay? Again, gamit yung N-term rule natin, pwede nating gamitin or pwede nating makuha yung hinahanap natin ng mga terms. Gamit yung 3N natin. Okay? So again, gamitin natin yung 3N. 3N, that means 3 times 5. Correct? Saan ba natin kinuha yung 5? Again, yung 5 is yung term number. Pinalitan natin substitute 5 sa n. Pinalitan natin yung n ng 5 kasi yung n dito ang nagsasabi ng term number. Eh, yung hinahanap natin dito is yung fifth term. And yung fifth term represents 5. 3 times 5 equals 15. So, ang next natin na term dito is 15. Get it? Okay, next. The n term rule is again 3n. This time, what number should be used for n? Okay? Again, we are looking for the sixth term. And sixth term represents number 6. Okay? So, 3n. That's 3 times 6. So, 3 times 6, the 6 there represents the sixth term. And the answer is 18. So, 18 is the next number. And last is the seventh term. Seventh term, 3n. And that 3 times 7, 7 there represents the seventh term. And the answer is 21. So, the seventh term there is 21. So, nakuha nyo na, class? Nakuha nyo na kung ano ang pwedeng paggamitan yung n-term rule na nakuha natin or na-formulate natin kanina? That's good. Pero halimbawa, tatanungin ka ng 20th term. O, anong gagawin mo? Hahanapin mo pa ba yung 8, 9, 10, 11? Ang tagal na nun. Okay, don't worry. We can use, again, our n term here, 3n. So, gagamitin natin yung 3n sa paghahanap ng ika-20th term. Ika-20 na numero sa sequence na ibinigay dito. So, again, we are looking for the 20th term in the sequence. So, what is the 20th term in the sequence? So, hindi mo na kinakailangang isolve pa yung ika-8, 9, 10, 11th term, no? Matatagalan ka bago mo makuha yung 20th term. The easiest way to do that and the fastest way to do that is to use this n term that we formulate. So again, that's 3n. Substitute 20 from n because 20 is the 20th term that we are looking in our sequence. So 3 times 20. And the answer is 60. So, our 20th term there is 60. Got it? Okay, very good. Now, paano natin kinuha yung nth term natin? How did we get, again, our nth term? What did we use? What strategy did we use? Yes, we look for patterns. And that's the very common way of finding or formulating the nth term. We find patterns. Let's proceed to our second example, 2, 5, 8, 11. And again, we will answer these questions. How to formulate the rule? What is the nth term rule? Again, nth term here stands for the formula or the term number in finding a certain number in the sequence. And then the third question is, what are the next 3 terms in this given sequence? We will answer all these together. And let's have the second example. We have 2, 5, 8, and 11. How to formulate the rule? This time, we will use another strategy, but this strategy is still connected in forming a pattern. Yes, we will find still a pattern, but then, how do we find a pattern in this particular given set of sequence? Ano ang pwede natin gamitin para makita natin yung pattern sa ibinigay na sequence? So for example, we have 2, 5, 8, and 11. So to look for a pattern, we will work backward. What do we mean by working backward? And how do we use working backward strategy? Again, we are looking for a pattern and we will use working backwards. So simply, we just find the difference of 5 and 2. We work backward from here, going to the first term. And that is 5 minus 2. And that 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. Correct. Next, we have 8 and 5. So 8 minus 5. Still, it gives 3. And then we have 11 and 8. 11 minus 8 equals 3. We can get a pattern given this illustration. Right? By working backward, we notice that the common difference is 3, right? Can you formulate the n term using this? Not really, right? Let's proceed to our third strategy now. So, ang dami namang strategy. Class, we don't have really a specific strategy na pwedeng gamitin para makuha yung specific na rule. Kung anong pwede na ma-apply para lang makuha yung n-term rule, gagawin natin. So far, we look for a pattern. Then, by looking for a pattern, we use the working backward strategy. And still, we will be using another one, which is about guess and check. Huhulaan natin. That's one of the common ways also in formulating the rule in the sequence. We will guess and then we will check. Of course, in guessing, we have to connect the given data we have. We will use the data in guessing, and then if you guess the rule, then we will check the rule if it is applicable to the given sequence. The question now is, what is the n-term rule in our sequence? Given this, nakuha na natin yung common difference, nakakuha na tayo ng pattern. We work backwards. We will now find the n-term rule using the third strategy, which is the guess and check strategy. Okay, again, we will apply the guess and check strategy in finding our n-term rule. Okay, let us try to guess. So let us have our data here. Of course, we have a common difference of 3 here. For sure, in our n-term rule, there is 3. No? There is 3. So let's try to connect the common difference to the term number. We have here the first term. First term stands for 1. Paano natin makukuha yung 2 gamit yung 1? Gamit yung common difference. Yes! Siguro, pwede natin gamitin yung 1, i-add natin sa ating common difference. So again, let us try to check it. The n here stands for the term number. Okay. And then, the 3 here stands for the common difference. Since our first term here is not equal, no, hindi pareho ang first term natin at saka yung common difference, ibig sabihin, may kadugtong pa yung n term natin dito. 3n lang kung same yung common difference at saka yung first term, just like we did earlier. But this time, our first term is different from our common difference. So maybe we will use another number to make this equal. And there is something to do with 1. Okay, 1. Para mag-equal sila, pwede nating dagdagan yung 2 sa 1. This is not yet final. We are trying to guess here. Ginagamit natin yung guess na strategy to find our n-term rule na pwedeng gamitin sa ibinigay na sequence. So let's try to guess 1. So let's try to have plus 1. 3n plus 1. And let us try to check. So let us try to check if our guess here is correct. So let's use 3n plus 1. So we will get the first term here. This one. If we get 2 after computing this, then our n term is correct. 1 here, yung 1 dito, nagre-represent ng first term. Ito yung 2. Sige. So that is 3 times 1. take note. We have a common difference here of 3 and our first term here is 2. What do you think would be a good idea in creating our end term here? What if we try to make our first term and our common difference equal? Try natin na gawing equal yung first term natin at saka yung common difference. Anong pwedeng gawin para maging equal sila? Na-try na natin kanina yung 2, di ba? Hindi nag-work. Try kaya natin na mag-minus ng 1 here. We will subtract 1 here to make 3, 2, right? So 3 minus 1, 2, and then 2 na here. So again, we will try. Sige. So let us have 3n minus 1. Saan natin kinuha yung 1? Kinuha natin yung 1 dito sa 3. Kumuha tayo ng 1 sa 3 to make it 2, right? Para magpantay sila ng first term. Hula lang naman ito. Guess lang naman to. Para lang may basihan tayo kung anong numero na pwede nating ilagay dito sa ating term or sa end term natin. Sige, let's try. There's no harm in trying. 3n minus 1. Sige, let's try. Let us check. So 3n, we will find the first term. We will replace n here. Papalitan natin yung n ng 1. Saan naman yung 1 nakuha? 2 is the first term and the first term represents 1. Sige, so that's 3 times 1 equals 1. Kinakailangan, pag solve natin ito, kinanglan ang makuha natin 2. Para masabi natin na ang ating end term na ginamit dito is correct. Okay, 3 times 1 equals? Yes, that's 3 minus 1. Oh, parang tama na ginagawa natin na. Okay, let's try to solve 3 minus 1. Equals 2. As you notice, we have the same first term with our answer here for our end term rule we used. Anong ibig sabihin yan? Yes, that 3n minus 1 is the correct rule for our sequence. So, ang ginawa natin, nag-subtract tayo dito ng isa sa 3. Ang purpose natin para maging equal yung term. Yung first term natin at saka yung common difference. Na? Pwede rin para gamitin natin yung technique in formulating our end term. No? In the succeeding sequences that we will be solving later. Okay, this time we will try to check our end term rule and we will get the second term. Dapat makuha natin yung 5 sa end term rule na gagamitin natin maya-maya. Okay, let's have our guess. Again, 3n minus 1. We will substitute n by 2 because we will find the second term for our sequence here. So, 3 times 2. Ang 2 dito, nakuha natin sa second term. Again, nag-check lang po tayo ng ating end term kung tama ba. Tama na yung kanina sa first term, try to check, i-double check natin for our second term. Kung makuha na, after computing this, kung makuha natin yung 5, masasabi na talaga natin na tama yung end term na na-formulate natin. So 6. So 3 times 2 equals 6 and 6 minus 1 is 5. So that means 3n minus 1 is really the correct rule for the sequence 2, 5, 8, and 11. Okay? So the next question is, what are the next 3 terms? Ano yung tatlong numero na susunod sa 11 sa ibinigay na sequence? Again, we have our end term rule that we formulated earlier, and it is final, 3n minus 1. So we will use this rule in finding the next 3 terms in the given sequence. So we have the fifth term. We have to look for the fifth term, the sixth term, and the seventh term. So again, we will be using our nth term that we formulated. So we have 3n minus 1. So n here will be substituted by 5 because n here represents the term number. That means 3 times 5 minus 1. 3 times 5, how much? Correct, that's 15. That's 15 minus 1. And then 15 minus 1 equals 14. So what is our fifth term? Our fifth term here is 14. Next, the sixth term. Still, we will be using same nth term rule. And this time, we will replace n by our term number, which is 6. That stands for sixth term. So that means we have 3 times 6 equals, or 3 times 6 minus 1. So 18, no? 18 is from 3 times 6. So 18 minus 1 equals 17. So the sixth term here is 17. Let's have the seventh term. Seventh term, still 3n minus 1. 3 times 7 equals, or 3 times 7 minus 1, and 3 times 7 equals 21. So 21 minus 1 equals 20. So our seventh term here is 20. Do you have now the idea, class, how to formulate our n-term rule? And we have also how to identify the next 3 terms using our n-term rule. Saan pa natin pwede magamit yung n-term rule na formulate natin? Example, the question is, what is the 50th term in the sequence? Gamit daw ng 2, 5, 8, 11 na sequence, or hahanapin natin yung pang 50 na term in the sequence. Siyempre, para mas madali isolve yan, gagamitin natin yung n-term rule na na-formulate natin kanina, which is yung 3n minus 1. Hindi na kinakailangang isolve pa yung pang-5, pang-6, pang-8, pang-9, pang-10 na term bago ka makakasolve ng pang-50th or pang-50. Matagal-tagal yung pag-solve na yun kung yun ang gagawin mo. Kaya kung makukuha mo na yung n-term rule, mas madali na lang isolve yung So, parang iba siya sa example or sa halimbawa na ibinigay natin kanina, di ba? But then, we can look for a pattern. Now, try to notice here. We have 3, we have 5, and we have 7. It's not the same with our previous example because in the previous example, common difference yun eh. Dito, hindi common ang difference. Out sa given na difference, masasabi natin na ang ating difference between terms are all consecutive odd numbers. Think if this is 3, 5, 7, what do you think would be the difference between 16 and the next number? Sige. So obviously, that would be 9, right? Kasi consecutive odd numbers to eh. So how to get the next number? That would be 16 plus 9. Okay, and that would be 25. Okay lang kung next number ang hahanapin at we want to formulate a rule here. Okay, so how to formulate the rule? Okay, we have here 1, 4, 9, and 16. This time, we will use the term number. So now, this is the first term, the second term, the third term, and the fourth term. This time, we will use the term number in formulating our nth term. So, nasabi ko na kanina, yung first term, nagre-represent ng 1, right? Think of a number no, that will be paired to 1 will give you 1. Hindi naman po pwedeng 1 plus 1. Kasi 2 yan. But if 1 plus 2, 3 din yan. O what about 1 times 1? Yes, pwede. We have 1 times 1. Saan ba yung nakuha natin yung 1? Yung 1 dito, nagre-represent ng first term. So, the second term stands for 2. So, 2 times 1, 2 times 2. Okay? So, we can have 2 times 2. How about number 9 here? So, 3 becomes, that's 3 times 3, right? Very good. And we have 4 times 4, which is 16. So, we have now a pattern. We guessed, we found the pattern. We will replace 1 here, 2, 3 here, and 4 here by n. Because this represents your term number. So in finding the n term here, we consider this pattern we got. So n. Anong ipaparis natin sa n? Ano ba yung common difference dyan? Wala na, di ba? Walang common difference. Paano ba to? Paano kaya? Ano kayang pwedeng gawin? Hindi naman po pwedeng 1 ang ipares dito kasi may 2 dito. Iba naman yung number sa kabila at dito din naman. Ano kaya? Yes! Very good! We can square it. Pwede nating i-multiply sa kanyang sarili. We multiply the number by itself. This is 1 times 1, take note that 1 times 1 can be written also as 1 squared. 2 times 2 could be written also as 2 squared. 3 squared and 4 squared. So meaning, we will just square n to get our n term rule for this sequence. So that is our n term rule now. But then, we will check later on if the n term we use that the n term we formulate is correct or not. Okay, let's try. So what are the next 3 terms in the sequence by using n squared? Okay, this one. So again, we have 1, 4, 9, 16. That's the first, second, third, and the fourth term. And we are looking for the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th term. Hinahanap natin yung pang-5, pang-6, at saka pang-7 na numero sa ibinigay na sequence. Let's have the 5th term. So we will use n squared. And we will replace n by 5 because 5 yung number na nagre-represent ng 5th term. So that's 5 squared. And that's 5 squared is 5 times 5 equals 25. Okay? Next is n squared. 6 squared, that's 6 because we're looking now for 6th term. So we change n to 6. And then we have 6 times 6 equals 36. And then 7. 7 times 7 equals 49. So our next 3 terms here is 25, 36, and 49. So now the question is, what is the 50th term in the sequence? Pang-15. So it's very easy. We'll still use our n-term rule that we formulated. So that is 1, 4, 9, 16, and we are looking for the 5th term. Again, hindi na kinakailangang isolve pa ang pang-5, pang-6, pang-7, pang-8, pang-9, pang-10 na numero sa sequence. But then, ang gagamitin na lang natin para shortcut na lang, para mas madali ang pag-solve, is ang gamit yung n-term rule na n squared. So, ang n, papalitan natin yan ng 15. So, 15 times 15 na tayo. And that gives you 225. So, ang pang-15 term sa given sequence is 225. Di ba? Madali lang? Let's have a practice exercise on your skill on formulating the n-term rule. And let's have the what's more part of your module. And this could be found on page 10. Direction. Write the rule to find the nth term of the given sequence. Supply the next 3 terms after. Okay, let's have number 1. So let's have the 5, 9, 13, 17 as the sequence. We will look for a pattern, of course. We can apply working backwards, and we will try to have guess and check strategy later on. So, if you notice, so that's 9 minus 5 equals 4. Let's have 13 minus 9 equals 4. So, we have a pattern there already. And let's have one more. 17 minus 13. We look backward. And then, that's it. We have now the pattern. So, obviously, we have a common difference of 4. So, let's try to guess. So, of course, we have 4 as our common difference, and we will use 4n automatically. But then, as you notice, we have different common difference and our first term, right? If you could still remember what we did earlier, we made our common difference and the first term equal. In this case, our common difference is less than our first term. So, what will we do to our common difference? We add 1, right? Okay, let's try to guess. Our 4 here and 5 is not the same. No? So again, we will add 1. Saan nanggaling yung plus 1? So, we get plus 1 here to make our first term and common difference equal. Guess lang naman to. No? Okay, let's try to check. So, 4n plus 1, and this time we will check the second term. The second term here, 2. After solving, we should get 9. Okay, let's see if we could get 9 after this. So that's 4 times 2 equals 8, and 8 plus 1 equals 9. So meaning, our guess nth term rule for n plus 1 is correct. Okay, so we have now, this 9 represents your second term. Okay, so we have the same answer. So the n-term rule we have is 4n plus 1. This time we will have the next 3 terms. Okay, so the term here we have the 5th, the 6th, and the 3rd, and the 7th term. We will use again our n-term rule 4n plus 1. So let's have first the 5th term. 4n plus 1, so n will be replaced by 5. So that means 4 times 5 plus n. And that makes it 20 plus 1. 20 plus 1 equals 21. So our 5th term here is 21. We have the 6th term is still 4n plus 1. We have 4 times 6 equals plus 1. And then we have 24. So that 24 comes from 4 times 6. And then 24 plus 1 equals 25. The 7th term here is 4 times 7 plus 1. 4 times 7 equals 28. 28 plus 1 equals 29. So our seventh term here is 29. So we have now our 3 terms. The next 3 terms is 21, 25, and 29. Is that clear? Okay, very good. Let's have number 2. We have 3, 8, 13, and 18. We will formulate first the nth term rule. So as you notice, we have 8 minus 3 equals 5. We have 13 minus 8 equals 5 also. And then we have 18 minus 13 equals 5. So again, we have a common difference of 5. And automatically, we can conclude that we have our 5n. But then, obviously, we have a different common difference and first term. Yung ginawa natin kanina, we have to make our first term and common difference equal. Since our common difference here is 5, which is greater than the first term, then we subtract 2 from 5 to make it equal to our first term, which is 3. So 5 minus 2 equals 3. So in our n term here, we will also have to subtract 2 from 5n. Understood? Okay, let's check if our guess is correct. So we have 5n minus 2, and then we will find the third term. So we will replace n here by 3. So pagkatapos nating ma-solve ito, we should get 13. Because our third term here is 13. Ang ginagawa natin ngayon, nag-check kung tama ba ang ating hula na 5n minus 2 as our n term rule. So 5 times 3 equals 15, and we have 15 minus 2 equals 13. So that means our 13 here is the third term, and we get the same number in the sequence. Okay? So that means our n term rule here is 5 minus 2. Next is we find the next 3 terms. So we will use the n term rule in finding our next term. So we have the 5th term is missing, the 6th term, and the 7th term. So we have 5n minus 2. 5 times 5 equals 2. 5, the n here replaced by 5 because 5 here represents the 5th term. And then 5 times 5 equals 25. So 25 minus 2 here is equal to 23. So we have here 23 as our 5th term. Next is we have the 6th term. 6th term we still use 5n minus 2, and then we replace n by 6. Ang 6 nagre-represent ng 6th term. Ang 5 times 6 is equal to 30. So 30 minus 2 equals 28. So 28 is our 6th term. And then we solve for 7th term by using our n term rule, which is 5n minus 2. And then we replace n by 7 kasi yung 7 ang nagre-represent ng 7th term. And then 5 times 7 here is 35. And then 35 minus 2 equals 3. So we have here 33. So meron na tayong 5th, 6th, and 7th term. So we will supply the next 3 terms here in the table, 23, 28, and 33. I hope you are following. Let's have number 3. We have the sequence 6, 12, 18, 24, and 30. So we will now find the n term rule for this sequence. So as you notice, we will work backward. 12 minus 6, 18 minus 12, 24 minus 18, and 30 minus 24. So this will give you 6. No? So the common difference is 6. And now take note. We have the same. We have the same common difference with the first term. Pareho yung first term natin at saka yung ating common difference. So obviously, our guess here is only 6n. No? Wala nang i-add, wala nang i-multiply, or wala nang i-subtract. No? Kasi once we have the same common difference with our first term, we only combine the common difference with the term number, which is n. Okay, so let's try to check if our guess is correct. So we have 6n, and this time we will solve for the fourth term, which is 24. So after this, we have to get 24. Okay, so our guess is correct. 6n here is the fourth term. So we have the same number as found in the given sequence. So our n-term rule here is 6n. Get it? Okay, that's good. Next, let's proceed in finding our next three terms. So the next three terms here, 6th term, 7th term, 8th term. Actually, class, by using the common difference of 6, we can find automatically the 6th term here by adding 6 into 30. And then adding 6 in the 6th term and adding 6 to the 7th term to get the 8th term. But then, that's another option. But this time, we will just use the n-term rule in finding the next three terms para masanay kayo ng paggamit ng n-term rule. Okay? Sige. So again, gamitin natin yung 6n in finding the 6th term. So this time, we will replace n here by 6 because we are looking for the 6th term here. So that's 6 times 6, and 6 times 6 is 36. So we have here 36. O, diba? So kung mag-add tayo ng, since we only have the common difference of 6, so ang 30 natin dito, pwede natin i-add ng 6, so make it 30. Pero again, ang sinabi ko na, para masanay kayo ng paggamit ng n-term rule, we will use the 6n as the n-term rule in finding the 6th, 7th, and the 8th term in the given sequence. So let's have the 7th term. 6n, so that means we have 6 times 7, and we have 42 as our 7th term. Next, we have the 8th term. 8th term, that's 6 times 8, and 6 times 8 equals 48. So that means our 8th term here is 48. Again, another option to get the 6th term, since we are just looking for the consecutive terms, no, from the last term given. Since we identify already, since nakuha na natin, na-identify na natin yung common difference na 6, we can add 6 to the last term given, which is 30. So 30, i-add natin yung 6, becomes 36. Ang 36, i-add natin ng 6, becomes 42. And 42 plus 6 equals 48. Mas madali lang yan kung ang hahanapin natin yung succeeding na mga terms sa last given term na binigay. Pero kung tatanungin ka ng specific term, just like 121st term, 200 term, no, diba? So, gagamitin natin mas madali yung n-term rule. So, we have here the next terms are 36, 42, and 48. Okay, let's have number 4. So, we have the given sequence 5, 0, negative 5, negative 10, and negative 15. Okay, you notice that you are given negative numbers here. And the numbers in our sequence are decreasing. Okay, but still, we can still apply different methods or different strategies in getting or formulating the nth term rule for this sequence. Still, we will look backward and then we will find the difference. We have 0 minus 5 equals negative 5, right? Negative 5 minus 0 is negative 5. Negative 10 minus negative 5 equals negative 5. And then negative 15 minus negative 10 equals negative 5. We have now our common difference of negative 5. Automatically, we have our negative 5n. But obviously, negative 5 here is lesser than our first term, 5. As part of our guessing strategy, we have to make this negative 5 equal to 5. And we have to subtract, no, negative 5 to 5. Okay, and that means that's 5 minus negative 5 equals 10. So meaning we will have plus 10 in here. Okay? So we'll try, this is just a guess. Hula lang naman ito, no? So try natin kung hula natin swak ba sa tamang n-term rule. Let's check. So 5n plus 10, and this time we will have the second term, 0. 0 here is our second term. So that's why 2 is used here to replace n. Okay. So after solving, it should be 0. After solving, it should be 0, so that our guess here is correct. Okay. So that is negative 5 times 2 equals negative 10. Correct? And then plus 10, that makes it 0. So our guess here is correct. And we have our n term here is negative 5n plus 10. Or, since this is addition, this could be interchanged. Since addition has a commutative property, you may answer in your module 10 minus 5n. Both n terms shown here on screen are correct. Okay? Let's have the next three terms. Okay, we are looking for the sixth term. Okay, let's have first the sixth term. Let's use negative 5n plus 10. Okay? So, replace n by 6. Okay? We will replace n by 6. And this will become negative 5 times 6 plus n. Saan nakuha yung 6? Sa sixth term. No? Sixth term stands for 6. That's why we replace n. Since n represents the term number, then the term number we are looking for here is 6. So we have 6 times negative 5. That means we have negative 30. And negative 30 plus 10 is equal to negative 20. Okay. Let's solve using the n term 10 minus 5n. Okay? So para mapakita ko lang sa inyo na parehas lang ang makukuhang resulta ng negative 5n plus 10 sa 10 minus 5n. Okay, let's use 10 minus 5n. Okay? So this is 10 minus 5 times 6. So 10 minus 30 and 10 minus 30 is negative 20. That shows that negative 5n plus 10 or 10 minus 5n are both the same. No, are same in terms of using it as n-term rule for the following sequence. Okay, so again, our sixth term here is negative 20. Okay, so let's go back to negative 5n. Negative 5n plus 10. So 7 naman ang gagamitin natin na number. So that makes it negative 35 plus 10. And we have negative 25. So negative 25 is our seventh term. Let's have the eighth term. So i-replace natin yung n dito as 8. And then we have negative 40 plus 10. And we have negative 30 as our eighth term. Did you get it, class? Okay, so again, negative 20, negative 25, and negative 30 are our next three terms in the given sequence. Okay, we have fraction for number 5, 1/5, 3/5, 5/5, and 7/5. Okay, again, we will look for the n term. We have 3/5 minus 1/5. Since this is a similar fraction, it's easy. So that's 2/5. And then we have 5/5 minus 3/5. The answer is still 2/5. And then we have 7/5 minus 5/5. We have still 2/5. So obviously, we have a common difference of 2/5. But then, our common difference here is not similar with our first term. So there is something to write aside from 2n divided by 5. Okay? So we have here 2n over 5 as our n term. But then, since our common difference is not equal to first term, expect na meron pang ilalagay na number dito. Na? Hindi lang 2n divided by 5. So ano kaya? Ano kayang pwede? So, that becomes 2 minus 5n. Pwede para ma-equal siya ng 1/5. So, magma-minus tayo ng 1/5, right? So, we will have to subtract 1/5. Okay, so that's negative 1. Okay, so 1/5 here. So 2n minus, this is actually 2n minus 5 minus 1/5. So, nilagay na lang na, since we have similar fraction, then we put 5 as the denominator. No? So, we have here 2n minus 1 divided by 5. Let's check if our guess is correct. So, we will find 3 here. 3 is used, no, to replace n here. Since we will find the third term. Expect, no, if our answer is, if our n term here is correct, expect that you, after solving this, we will get 5 over 5 or 5/5. So let's have first 2 times 3. How much? So that's 6. Okay? So 6 minus 1 equals 5. So we have 5/5. So our guess here, which is 2n minus 1 over 5, is correct. Okay? So we get the third term, and then we have the n term here, 2n minus 1 divided by 5 or over 5. Next, let's have the next 3 terms. Obviously, we will use again our n term here. So 2n minus 1 over 5. 2n times 5 equals 1 divided by 5. And then we have 10 minus 1 over 5. And then we have 9 over 5. So 9 over 5 here is our fifth term. Next, we have the sixth term. So 2n minus 1 over 5. And then we replace n by 6. And then 12 minus 1 over 5. That becomes 11 over 5. And then we have the seventh term. Seventh term here is 2n minus 1 over 5. And then we replace n by 7. So 2 times 7 equals 14 minus 1. And then 13 minus, or 13 over 5 is our seventh term. So again, our next 3 terms here are 9 over 5, 11 over 5, and 13 over 5. Okay, review natin yung mga sagot natin sa what's more part of your module. Number 1, the n term is 4n plus 1. And the succeeding or the next 3 terms for number 1 is 21, 25, and 29. Next, we have number 2, 3, 8, 13, 18. The n term rule here is 5n minus 2, and the next 3 terms are 23, 28, and 22. We have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30 for number 3. And n term here is 6n. And the 3 terms are 36, 42, 48. Number 4, 5, 0, negative 5, negative 10, and negative 15. The n term rule here is negative 5, negative 5n plus 10 or 10 minus 5. And the 3 terms are negative 20, negative 25, and negative 30. Number 5 is 2n minus 1 over 5. And our next 3 terms are 9 over 5, 11 over 5, and 13 over 5. So try to check your answers there for what's more part of your module. So these are the correct answers. Let us all read together the what I have learned part of your module. Ready? Go! To formulate the rule in finding the nth term of a sequence, we can look for a pattern, work backwards, and guess and check strategies. Okay, this time, let us answer the what I can do part of your module that could be found on page 11. Direction: supply the missing terms to complete the given sequences and find the nth term. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. Okay, let's have number 1. So we will look for the sequence first and then we will look for the nth term rule. Sige, baliktarin na naman natin, no? Pwede rin naman nating unang kunin yung or unang hanapin yung sequence bago yung mga nth term rules. Sige, baliktarin naman natin yung proseso. So we have 5, 8, 11, 14, and 17. So, as you notice, you have a pattern there. May plus 3 na pwedeng makuha. No? We can get the succeeding numbers by adding 3 in the preceding numbers. So expect that it would be 3 also in this missing number. So 17 plus 3, how much? Yes, that's 20. So 20 plus 3, that's 23. And then 23 plus 3 is 26. So we have now your sequence. No? Your 6th term, the 7th term, and the 8th term. So let's try to guess if our answers are correct. No? Let's try to guess the nth term rules that we could formulate given the sequence. Common difference here is 3, right? Okay, 3n. Meron na tayong 3n. Pero as you notice, magkaiba na naman yung first term natin at saka yung common difference. So, para maging equal yung common difference at saka yung first term, anong gagawin natin sa common difference? Anong gagawin natin sa 3? Para to make it equal to 5. Yes, magdadagdag tayo ng 2. So, expect that you will add 2 in this expression given. So, we have now 3n plus 2. Again, we are just trying to guess here. So, let us check if our answer is correct. So, we have to check if the 6th term that we get here, which is 20, is the same using our nth term rules. No? So, 3n, we will palitan natin yung n ng 6 because 6 represents your 6th term. So, 3 times 6 here is equal to 18. So, 18 plus 2 is equal to 20. So, tama. So, tama ang ginawa natin. Next is the 7th term. Try natin. And then we have 3 times 7 equals 21 plus 2. And then we have 23. So, again, tama na naman tayo. And then, let's try. We have 3n plus 2. 3n times 8, which is 8th term. No? And then 3 times 8 equals 24. 24 plus 2 equals 26. Or tama ang ating hula na nth term. You write here 20, 23, and 26. And the nth term here is 3 times 4 or 3 times n plus 2 or 3n plus 2. So this is the correct answer for your item number 1 in what I can do part of your module. Next, number 2, we have 1, 4, 7, and 10. Again, we will find a pattern. Common difference of 3. Of course, expect that we have to add 3 also in the last term, which is 10. So, of course, our next term here to 10 is 13. 13 plus 3 equals 16. And 16 plus 3 is 19. So we have here the 13, 16, 19 as the part of your sequence or the next 3 sequence. Let's now form the nth term rule. So if you have the 5th term, 6th term, and the 7th term. Since we have a common difference, so we will automatically use 3n as our nth term. Okay, so we will try to guess. So 3n here, and then obviously your first term is less than our common difference. So we will subtract by 2. Magma-minus tayo dito ng 2 para maging equal siya ng 1. So we will have 3n minus 2. And then let's try to check if our guess is correct. So So 3n minus 2. So 3n times 5, or 3 times 5 equals 2. And then that's 3 times 5 equals 15 minus 2, and that makes it 13. Next, the sixth term. We have 3n minus 2. 3n minus 2, let's try to check. 3 times 6 equals 2. And then 3 times 6 minus 2. And then we have 3 times 6 equals 18 minus 2. And then we have 16. So our sixth term is correct. Let's have the seventh term. 3n minus 2. And then 3n minus 2. And then we have 3 times 7 minus 2. And then 21 minus 2. And then we have 19. Okay? So we have the nth term rule here is 3n minus 2. So this is the answer. This is the correct answer for your item 2 in the what I can do part of the module. Next, number 3. We have 10, 14, 18, and 22. Okay? So we have, as you notice, we have a common difference of 4. Obviously, to get the missing number here, our fifth term, we just add 4 in 22. That makes it 26. And then 26 plus 4 equals 30. And then 30 plus 4 equals 34. So our sequence, our next three terms are 26, 30, and 34. So let's find the nth term rule. So we have the fifth term, sixth term, and the seventh term. So obviously, we have 4n. Automatically, we have 4n. But then, our common difference and our first term here is not equal. So what will you do to our common difference? To make it 10, we will add 6. Expect that 4n will be added to 6. And then, check. Let's check. So 4n plus 6. So 5. And then, obviously, our answer here is 26. So that's why our guess is correct. Let's try one more. 4n. Okay, still our answer is correct, right? Yes. Next, seventh term. Still, we will use 4n plus 6. And then, so that's the correct solution for the seventh term, and that's 34. So obviously, our answer is correct. So we have 4n plus 6 is our nth term rule for the given sequence. So this is the final answer for the item 3 in what I can do part of your module. Okay, let's have number 4. Number 4, we have 5, 9, 13, 17, and 21. So obviously, we have a common difference of 4 again. We have the sixth term, this is 25. So I know you've already an idea how to get 25. 25 plus 4 is 29, the seventh term. And the eighth term is 33. And we get 23 if we add 29 plus the common difference of 4. So we have 25, 29, and 33 as the next three terms in the given sequence. Let's now go to the nth term rule. So obviously, we have a common difference of 4, and the first term is 5. So obviously, we have 4n plus 1. Correct? And then, we have to check it. 4n plus 1. We have 6. 4 times 6 equals 24 plus 1, and that makes it 25. So obviously, we have the same answer here. So our nth term rule that we formulated is correct. The seventh term is 4n plus 1, 4n plus 1, and then 4 times 7 plus 1, and that makes it 28 plus 1, and then 29. Okay? And then we have the eighth term. So 4n plus 1, we have 4n plus 1, 4 times 8 plus 1, and then 32 plus 1, and then we have 33. So again, our eighth term is correct. Okay, so our nth term rule for this number is 4n plus 1. So this is the final answer for number 4. Next, number 5, we have 8, 14, 20, and 26. So 26, is our last, is our fourth term here. So again, obviously, we have common difference of 6. Okay, so we have 32. 26 plus 6, 32. 32 plus 6 here is the sixth term, which is 38. And then 38 plus 6 here is our 44 is our seventh term. Okay? So 32, 38, and 44 are the next three terms in the sequence. Let's proceed to the end term rule. So obviously we have a difference. We have a different common difference of 6, and we have the first term is 8. So expect that there will be, that your guess here would be 6n. 6, nakuha natin yung 6 sa common difference. Ang n natin dito ay nagre-represent ng term number. Since we have a different first term and common difference, so we will add 2 sa ating common difference na 6. So that makes it 6n plus 2. So let's try to check if our guess is correct. So 6n plus 2. And then we have 6 plus 5 times 5 plus 2. Nakuha natin yung 5 sa fifth term dito, di ba? And then we have 30 plus 2. And then we have 32. So tama ang ating hula na 6n plus 2. Because we have the same answer in here. Next, we have 6n plus 2 also. And then 6n plus 2, we have 6 times 6, 36, plus 2 equals 38. And then we have 7th term. So 6 times 7 equals 42 plus 2, and then we have 44. So our correct answer for the nth term rule for number 5 is 6n plus 2. Okay? That's the final answer for number 5. Okay, let's have number 6. Kung napapansin ninyo, ang unang dalawang terms ang nawawala sa sequence. So, kahit ganito ang ating problem, we will still follow the same procedure. So, we have the third term here, the fourth term is 25, and the fifth term here is 31. So, the second term is missing, at yung nawawala din na term is yung first term. So, but we will try to apply the same strategy, no, that we used earlier. So, we will find first the common difference. We have 5. So, obviously, we have a common difference of 6. Makukuha natin yung second term kung i-subtract natin yung common difference na 6 in here. Okay? Nakuha lang natin yung common difference na to base sa common difference na ibinigay dito sa between third and fourth and fifth terms. So 19 minus 6 would give you 13. And also, if that is the common difference, then obviously, so 13, you subtract 6, okay, and then it will give you 7. So we have 7, 13, 19, 25, and 31. Let's now formulate the n-term rules for this sequence. So obviously, we have 6n because we have here a common difference of 6. But then, as you see, the common difference here is not the same with the first term. So para magkapareha sila, we will add 1 in here, right? So we will have 6n plus 1. So we have 6n plus 1, 6 times 2, because 2 is our missing term here. We have 6 times 2 plus 1, and 6 times 2 will give you 12. 6 times 2 will give you 12, and then plus 1, and then we have 13. Okay? So we have here the first term, 6n. We will use 6n plus 1. In 6n plus 1, we have 6 times 1 plus 1. And then we have 6 times 1 equals 6 plus 1 will give you 7. So our nth term here is correct. Okay? And this is now the final answer for item number 6 in the what I can do part of your module. So we have here number 7, 1, 8, 27, 64. We look for the 5th term, the 6th term, and the 7th term. We have 7. So 8 minus 1 is 7. And then 27 minus 8 is 19. And 64 minus 27 is 37. So as you notice, we don't have common difference. No? So obviously, medyo mahihirapan tayo kumuha sa susunod na term if these are the given difference of the sequence. So ano kayang pwede gawin? So mag-iisip tayo ng ibang paraan kung paano natin makukuha yung end term at saka yung mga next 3 terms on this given sequence. Let's analyze the sequence. So we have 1, we have 8, 27, and 64. So this is the first term, the second term, the third term, and the fourth term. So gagamitin natin yung ang term number. Also, we have fifth term, the sixth term, and the seventh term. Gagamitin natin yung mga term number na to para makuha yung mga ibinigay na mga numbers. Just like 1. First term here represents 1. Second term, 2. Third term here represents 3. Fourth term, 4. Fifth term, 5. Sixth term, 6. And seventh term, 7. So we will use this number to get this 1, 8, 27, and 64. So how about 1? What do you think? Okay, we'll have 1 times 1 to get 1. How about 2? How to get 8 if we use number 2? Yes, very good. We have 2 times 4. This 2 here represents your term number. Okay? Next. How do we get 27 if we use number 3 here? Yes, very good. That's 3 times 9. Try to observe if there is a pattern that you form using this data. Parang meron na, di ba? Sige. Let's continue. Anong number na pwede nating i-multiply sa 4 para makakuha tayo ng 64? Yes, that's 4 times 16. Okay, now, so we have here, the first number here, 1, 2, 3, 4 represents your term number. And take note with the numbers here. Beside each term number, we have 1, we have 4, we have 9, and we have 16. Or what can you observe about these numbers? Yes! So these are perfect squares. These numbers are perfect squares. Okay? So we have 2. So 2 square equals 4, right? And then we have 3 times 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. And then 4 squared here is 16. Yes. So what's next? Okay, very good. Take note. Pareho na yung number dito at saka yung end term natin. We could say that this one will represent n. Since n is equal to 1, then this one also will represent n. And also this one. If 2 will represent n, then 2 here must be n also. So what conclusion could you make? Since 1 here represents n, 2 here represents n, the term number, 3 and n, and 4 we have n. So take note, we have the same number here with this n number. So we can say n times n squared, right? Okay, so to simplify it, we have n cubed. N cubed, n cubed, n cubed. Because n times n squared is equal to n cubed. That our n term here is n cubed. Okay, to get the 5th term and 6th and 7th term, we just simply use our n term. Okay? Yan. So, you notice? Okay, so 3rd term natin, 27. N cubed, so we have 4 cubed. So, 64 yan. So, we have here 5th. So, that's 125. So, that means 5 times 5 times 5. You multiply 5 3 times. 125. So we have here 6. That's what 216. And 7 here is 7 times 7 times 7 equals 343. So we have now our next 3 terms. We have 125, 216, and 343. Get it? Good. So this is now the final answer for our item number 7 in what I can do part. Okay, let's have number 8. We have 2, 5, 10, and 17. So these are the term numbers of each term. So obviously, we have a common difference of 3 between second term and the first term. Yung third at saka second term, may difference na 5. At saka yung third, yung fourth, may 7 na common na difference. So, kung makikita ninyo, we have a common difference of consecutive odd numbers. This is 9, right? So, that is 26. So, you add 17 and 9, but makes it 26. So, after this we have 11. Common difference 11. And then 26 plus 11, that will give you 37. And after 11, obviously, that is 13. 37 plus 13 is 50. So let's now go to formulating the nth term. So let's try to solve the second term. So we have 2. 2 here stands for the nth term, which is second term. Ang goal kasi natin dito, class, is to get 5. At saka gamitin natin yung 2 here as its term number. So, if we try to square 2, that will give you 4. Okay, so how much is needed to get 5? Plus 1, right? Okay, so that's 5. And then, let's have number 4. Let's do the same with fourth term. Fourth term is 4, right? And then we square the 4. Square the 4, and that is 4 times 4 is 16. And ilan na lang yung kulang para makuha yung 17? Yes, that's 1. So that makes it 17. So try to figure out if you can form a pattern here. Again, these are perfect squares. 4 is a perfect square, and this one is a perfect square also. This represents this 4 and this 2 as your n, right? Kasi nakuha natin ito sa term number nila. So, pwede nating sabihin na makagagamit tayo ng n squared dito. Since we add 1 here, then we can also conclude that n squared plus 1 is our n term rule for number 8. This time, let's have the third term. Try lang natin. Yung third term natin is 3, di ba? Dapat makakuha tayo ng 10. So, let's try to replace n as 3. 3 times 3, because it is squared here, is 9 plus 1, 10. So, this is really our nth term, because we can find the third term here as 10. So, this is the final nth term rule for number 8. So we have number 8. The nth term rule for number 8 is n squared plus 1. We will use this term, nth term, in finding our 5th, the 6th, and the 7th term. So let's have first the 5th term. Let's use n squared plus 1. N will be replaced by 5 because this is 5th term. And 5 squared plus 1 is equal to 25 plus 1. So this is 5 times 5 equals 25. So this is 26. So our 5th term here is 26. Next is n squared plus 1 still. And then we have 6. Replace n with 6. And then we have 36. 36 plus 1 equals 37. And then we have the 7th term. N squared plus 1. 7 squared plus 1. And then we have 7 times 7 equals 49. And then we have 49 plus 1 equals 50. So here you go. We have now our 5th, the 6th, and the 7th term. 26, 37, and 50. Okay, let us review our answers for what I can do part in your module. For number 1, we have 20, 23, 26 as the next 3 terms in the sequence. And the n term rule is 3n plus 2. Number 2, 1, 4, 7, 10. And the succeeding terms are 13, 16, 19. 3n minus 2 is our nth term for number 2. Number 3, 26, 30, 34 are the next 3 terms. And we have 4 plus n, 4 times n plus 6 as nth term rule. 5, 9, 13, 17, 21, 25, 29, 33. And the nth term rule here is 4n plus 1. 8, 14, 20, 26. And we have 32, 38, 44. And the nth term rule for number 5 is 6n plus 2. The first and the second term for number 6 is 7 and 13. And the nth term rule for this item is 6n plus 1. Number 7, 1, 8, 27, 64. The next 3 terms are 125, 216, and 343. And the nth term rule here is n cubed. 2, 5, 10, 17. The next term in the sequence are 26, 37, and 50. And the nth term rule for number 8 is n squared plus 1. So please take note with this answers for your what I can do part. And I hope it is clear to you now and you have now the idea how to get and how to formulate the n term rule and how to get the terms or the next 3 terms in a given sequence. Okay? In your module, you will answer the assessment part that could be found on page 12. Okay? You can get any piece of paper. I will teach you how to solve each item, each problem in assessment and in additional activities in a separate video tutorial. Okay? But as of now, you have to answer first, no? And let's see if you really have understood our lesson for this week. This is both for assessment and additional activities of this module. You can get any piece of paper or you may get your notebook. Try to practice or try to answer the assessment part. Let's see if you have really understand our lesson for this week. I'll give you 10 minutes to answer your assessment. Okay, actually this is 1 up to 10. Only 5 items are shown here on your screen, no, for the meantime. Direction: find the 3 terms in each sequence. Write the rule for finding the nth term and write your answer on a separate answer sheet. You are going to find the next 3 terms and you have to formulate also the rule, the nth term rule. Understood? I'll give you 10 minutes to finish your assessment. And your time starts now. Okay, this time you will answer the additional activities in your module that could be found on page 13. I'll give you 5 minutes to finish it. Now you have to supply only the next 3 letters or combination of numbers and letters in the given patterns. Do this in a separate sheet of paper, or you may use your notebook or your extra sheet of paper there, to answer your additional activities. Your time starts now. And now let's proceed to your lesson 2 still in your module 2, week 2 for quarter 3 in mathematics 6. And this is about differentiating expression from equation. So again, our objective for this lesson is to differentiate expression from the equation. So let us have first the what I know part of your module. We will answer it all together. So identify whether the following shows an expression or an equation. Write EX if it shows an expression, while EQ if it is an example of an equation. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. Are you ready? Now let's have number 1. 5 plus 7 minus 4 is an example of? Yes, expression. That's EX. Number 2, 10 minus 6 times 5. An example of? Still an expression or EX. 10 plus 30 equals 40. An example of? Equation or EQ. 5n equals 15. That's equation. Number 5. Correct. That's expression. 73 is an expression. 30 minus 15 equals 5 times 3. Yes, that's equation. 8. 4n divided by 9 is expression. 7n plus 5 equals 75. That's equation. Number 10. 36 minus 7 plus 10 times 6 is an example of expression. This is just a pretest for our lesson 2 in your module 2. Next, let's proceed to the what's in part of your module. So on a separate sheet of paper, translate the following word phrases to numerical expression or equation. Okay, number 1, the sum of 30 and 10. If you write this into an expression, this will be 36 plus 10. Okay? So 36 plus 10. Next, number 2. 3 times the sum of 6 and 2. Yes, this is written as. Next, number 3. 10 decreased by 4 plus 7. 10 minus 4 plus 7. Number 4. 8 divided by 2 added to 5 equals 9. So this is the correct answer. Okay, that's 5 plus 8 divided by 2 equals 9. Next, number 5. 12 times 5 equals to 60. This will be 12 times 5 equals 60. Next, number 6. 10 added to the product of 5 and 10. Correct. That's 5 times 10 plus 10. Next, 45 divided by 9 is 5. Correct. 45 divided by 9 equals 5. Thrice the sum of 2 and 3. So, thrice means 3 times. So, 3 times 2 plus 5. Take away 7 from 11. That's subtraction. So, that's 11 minus 7. 10. 21 plus 5 equals 26. The answer is 21 plus 5 equals 26. Now, what can you say about these two data here? Observe the given data. Now, what do you think is the difference between the two? Yes, very good. The first one has no equal sign. Right? This 2n minus 6 has no equal sign. But here, 2n minus 6 has equal sign and has answer. Has a difference of 4. What do you call 2n minus 6? And what do you call 2n minus 6 equals 4? Okay, we'll see about this later. Now, an expression class is a combination of numbers and variables combined by a mathematical operations or symbols. So, when you talk about expression class, this could be a combination. Even a single number is an expression. It's a combination of numbers or a variable. Variable can be any letters in the alphabet. And this can be combined with symbols. The addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. So this is an example of expression. 2n minus 6, 8y minus 5. So again, n here and y are variables. And here is the operation, which is minus or subtraction. So 20 divided by 5 times 12 can also be an example of an expression. 8 plus 7, 2b times 9 are all examples of expression. Also, 10 plus 3 times 4. All you see here on the screen are examples of expression. These are combinations of variables, numbers, and mathematical symbols. Now, let's have the equation. Equation is a mathematical sentence formed by placing an equal sign between two expressions. So you are given two expressions, and then in between two expressions is an equal sign. So madali lang i-identify yung equation class because equation is from the word equal, or with the equation use equal sign to illustrate that the two expressions given are equal. So tandaan nyo lang, basta mayroong equal sign sa gitna, then that's absolutely an equation. Okay? But make sure that you evaluate first. Evaluate first the given data if this is really equal. Kasi di man lang equal. So that cannot be an equation. So supposedly equation should be two expressions which are equal. So examples of equations are 45 plus 5 equals 50. So take note, So 50 is an expression, 45 plus 5 is an expression, and since these are equal, then this is an example of equation. 5 squared also equals 25, so that's an equation. 2n minus 6 equals 4 is an example of an equation. 2 plus 2 times 5 equals 12. 3y equals 15 is an equation. And also this one, n plus 7 minus 2 times 3 equals 11. All use equal sign. You notice? So these are all example of equation. So again, let's go back to our previous example. 2n minus 6 is an example of, yes, this one is an expression. 2n minus 6 is an expression. And 2n minus 6 equals 4 is an equation. Now, let us answer your what's more part of your module that could be found on page 16. Direction. Determine which of the following are expressions and which are equation by writing it in the proper column. So you are given set of equations and expressions here. All you have to do is to write it in the proper column here in the table. Let's start. We have 15 minus 10 plus 13 is an example of expression. Very good. 3x minus 2x is an example of, yes, an expression again. 4 times 10 equals 40 is an example of, yes, an equation. 12y equals 108 is an example of, yes, very good, is an equation. 15 times 6 equals n is an example of equation again. 10 minus a is an example of expression. 5n plus 8 equals 43 as an example of equation. 75 plus the difference of 123 is an example of expression. 120 divided by 10 times 5 equals n. Obviously, that's the example of equation. And the last is 5 cubed minus 2 cubed. The answer is expression. So it's very easy to identify expression and equation. Everybody, let us all read together the what I have learned part of your module. Ready? Go! An expression is a combination of numbers and variables combined by mathematical operations or symbols, while equation is a mathematical sentence formed by placing an equal sign between two expressions. This time, let's answer your what I can do part of the module that could be found on page 19. Okay, we have to complete the table here for number 1 and number 2. We are going to identify the numerical expression or equation given the word problem, and then we will identify if it is expression or equation. Number 1, Christelle is 15 years old. Her father is 10 years more than twice her age. So how will you illustrate this word problem? 15 years old, then more than is the word associated with addition. So that's 2 times 15 plus 10. So 15 is the age of Christelle, and her father is 10 years more than, so that's plus 10, twice her age. So when we say twice, that's 2 times the age of Christelle. So that's 2 times 15 plus 10. So 2 times 15 plus 10 is an example of very good expression. Number 2, Jose weighs 25 kilograms. His uncle weighs twice as Jose's weight. So how will you translate that into expression or equation? Yes, so that's simply 3 times 25. And 3 times 25 is an example of, again, that's an expression. Next, let's have number 3. And 3, 4, and 5. So the instruction in here is to complete the equation by supplying the missing number. So number 1, 25 minus blank equals 14 plus 1. What do you think is the correct answer for number 3? Yes, 10. So 25 minus 10 equals 15, and 14 plus 1 equals 15. So we have an equation here. Number 4, blank cube equals 8. Yes, that's 2. 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. So we have equation in here. Number 5, 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 3 times blank. What's the missing number? Yes, that's 2. So 3 times 2 equals 6, and 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6 also. Good job. Let's have your assessment. So this time, you are going to answer it in a separate sheet of paper. Let's see if you could identify and differentiate equation and expression. I'll give you 3 minutes to finish your assessment. Is that enough? Okay, very good. So again, please get your papers there or notebook. Take note, class. I will give you the answer for this assessment on my separate video tutorial. It will be released within this week also. So direction, identify the following if it is an equation or expression. Write the answer in a separate sheet of paper. So this time, you write equation and you write expression, no, in each item. You are only given 3 minutes for this assessment. And your time starts now. Okay, still on the separate sheet of paper, please answer your additional activities. The answer for this, the possible answer for your additional activities will be shared to you. I will be shared to you on my next video lesson. Is that clear? But as of this time, I'll give you 3 minutes to answer your additional activities. And your time starts now. Reminder class, in all your assessments and all your additional activities for lesson 1 and lesson 2 for module 2, no, for math 6 quarter 3, I will teach you how to get the answers for this part on my next video lesson. Is that clear? Again, the answers for assessment and additional activities will be shared to you in my next video tutorial. Is that clear? Very good. If you want to keep updated in all my video lessons and in all my video tutorials, please do subscribe in my YouTube channel, Tutorial by Sir Rymon, or you may search Teacher Jem Rymon Chien. For those who have subscribed already, thank you so much. That's all for this week, class. Thank you so much for participating. Have a blessed week ahead. Don't forget to stay home and be safe always.